Hey ladies, welcome back to Confident and Thriving Podcast with me, your host Cleopatra. So for today's episode, I'm actually going to be sharing with you my mid-year reset. It's actually a month earlier than planned. So I actually plan to do a mid-year reset in June because June actually marks like the start of a new year for me. So I don't know if you probably heard of 12-week year. I've been implemented that recently just so that I can start accomplishing things a lot more faster, getting rid of distractions and things like that. I'll go more into detail of that eventually or maybe in another episode. So anyways, I actually decided to do a 16-week year just to give myself a little bit more time, but still keep it short. And so June 1st actually marks the beginning. It actually marks the beginning of a new year. And so doing a mid-year reset is in May is early, but I'm doing it for a reason, simply because I am shifting something around within the 16-week goal that I had set for myself. I'm adding something else and I want to do it now. I don't want to wait until June. I want to be able to do it now. And so, just to share with you guys what I'm resetting and why I'm doing it now is I decided that I really want to go all in on this podcast. So I know if you've been with me since Becoming Confident, like I started that, I think like 2.5, 3 years ago, I believe, 3 years ago exactly. And if you started with me then, hey girl, hey, I'm still happy to have you around. But you've seen me change the name of the podcast. You've seen me take maybe some months off and then come back. And so I've decided that I really want to go all in because like when I started Becoming Confident podcast, I had so much plans for that podcast, but life happened. I let things get in the way. I allowed myself to get distracted and that really took away from the podcast. And so I came back, I changed the name again and I went into one direction and then I slowed down again and then I came back and now the name of the podcast is Confident and Thriving, and which I feel is the right name for the podcast. So this shows you honestly you just have to start. So I just want to say that message here, even though like I changed the name a few times and that can be considered like all over the place. You sometimes have to start and things change along the way. Things change along the way and you kind of have to just allow that to happen, allow that to evolve with you. Because like when I started Becoming Confident, it was the idea of it, still the same concept, but just a tad bit different. And I feel like this one actually aligns with me the most. And again, I realized like I'm not giving it the quality, the attention that it deserves because to be honest, I actually feel like this podcast can be so much further. It should be so much further if I didn't stop. Right? This goes for the ladies. Like, if you start and stop, girl, I see you. Like, it happens, but it's not like in order for us to like really thrive, it's not a good quality, right? To start something and stop something or keep taking pauses because you may never see it through and really unlock the potential of what it can be. And it just prolongs time, right? And so, yeah, I just really want to go all in now. I feel like it's the idea, the plans that I have is like in alignment. So I'm all in. 24 days left. Whenever this episode airs, it should be about 24 days left before June 1st. And so for me, it's not a full 30 days, but it's actually like a quarter, right? Because a 12-week year, like, is to collapse that time and try to get most things done. Why I started to do the 12-week year is because what I realized is that, like, we prolong things, like we give ourselves a year to accomplish things, And in the reality is that like we accomplish way less than we actually could if we shorten the time. So as long as like as much time as you give something to accomplish, it actually could take that long to accomplish, or it can take a lot longer, or you just never accomplish it, right? And so I decided that I wanted to stop doing that. Yes, I've accomplished a lot. I've accomplished things in 3 months. I've accomplished things in a year or shorter. However, I want to be more consistent with collapse in time, right? And so putting things into a 12-week time frame instead of a year, it I see the results that I'm desiring, like flourishing is coming to life. And it makes you realize you can actually put more effort, not hustle, but more effort into getting the result that you want. And you realize you can actually do so much or get so much accomplished and experience different things in a one full year if you actually stop giving so much time to accomplish something, right? And so that's a huge reason why I decided to start implementing the 12-week year. This time I did 16 weeks. Next time I think I'm going to do just 12 weeks. I'm trying to decide which one is going to work best, but I do recommend it. It's actually life-changing and it gets things done. So, my overall goal for the podcast, when I think of the full 2026, is I want to grow this podcast community. I want to grow the YouTube podcast channel greatly. So I want to grow obviously the audio one on Spotify, Apple, and any other podcast and platforms that you may be listening on. However, like I really, really, really want to grow the YouTube podcast channel. And I want to be able to monetize a podcast, sponsorships, AdSense, things like that. And that's a huge reason why I want to grow the YouTube podcast channel. And so if you are an audio listener, I will be so greatly appreciative if you can go to the YouTube channel. I'm going to link the channel in the description box in the show notes and go subscribe to the YouTube podcast channel. I would be so delighted. I would be so grateful because I do want that channel to grow. And the more it grows, like the more I feel like I will be able to pour into this podcast. And so I will be so grateful if you guys can go do that for me. Subscribing definitely helps the podcast. It helps me reach more people, more women who this podcast is made for. Thank you so much if you go ahead and do that. I really appreciate you, ladies. And now I'm going to go ahead and start talking about like the message that I wanted to pour into you today, especially with it being a mid-year reset. And I know how it feels when maybe you set your goals in January and your results hasn't appeared yet. Or maybe you had goals and you just haven't gotten started. So either you started in January, however, the results that you desire has not appeared yet, or you have a vision, you have a desire, but you still haven't started, right? You still haven't started pursuing it and it's already May. And so this is the message that I want to pour into you because time is flying. As we can see, I can't believe it's like the middle of 2026. And time is flying, and it can be very disappointing when we take a look back and see how much time has passed and the results that we desired has not manifested. It has not come into our reality. And it can also be disappointing towards yourself when you haven't even gotten started yet. And so my message for you today is I encourage you to begin strengthening your belief in the unseen. All right. This is literally the essence of confidence. It is trusting, it is faith, it is trusting in the result that you desire. It is trusting, having faith in your desired outcome. And why I wanted to share this message is because believing in the unseen is honestly something that makes things happen. Of course, it's like the belief and then there's action that takes place. But the thing is, we always think we have to, in order for us to keep the confidence, in order for us to keep the faith, we believe that we actually have to see something happening before we can actually believe it for us to come true, believe it's possible for us, right? And sometimes that's a lot of times why we end up stopping and never continuing, or why we have setbacks, we just kind of slow down because it's like the results aren't happening. So it gets a little discouraging. And the thing is, like, that is the thing that actually moves. So there's so much like in the unseen that we really don't know that is like taking place. However, the only thing that we have is that confidence, right? The only thing that we have is that faith that we can believe in. And so not seeing the results appearing to you right now, it doesn't mean that like it's not going to happen. It doesn't mean that it's not available to you, right? If you have been pursuing and you feel like it's nothing's happening, it doesn't mean that it's not coming to you. It doesn't mean that it's not available to you. Just in the same as if you haven't gotten started because you don't feel like it's possible for you, you can't see it for yourself, that again doesn't mean that it's impossible for you. It doesn't mean that it's impossible for you, and it doesn't mean that it is unavailable to you. So what this message came about is because I actually have a huge goal, right? I told you guys that like I have the 12-week year plan, or the 16-week year that I have, and June 1st would be like the first. And I had a huge goal that I supposed to accomplish by June 1st. And I'm about 50% of that goal. So 50% of that goal is actually like, I see it happening, right? It's coming into reality. I can actually see the living proof. And then the other 50% has actually not taken place at all, and is frustrating, is actually disappointing, and it can sometimes like get to me. And so what I've been studying to keep my confidence strong, to keep my faith strong, is studying confidence and studying faith. And so there's a few things that honestly like keep showing up just to keep me activated, just to keep my audacity activated. And that's something that I'm going to share with you, because I have to also, like, when you are trying to accomplish something, when you are actually accomplishing something, and when you set out, you have to constantly remind yourself, you have to constantly pour into yourself, pour into that confidence muscle, pour into that faith muscle, that self-trust, that self-belief muscle, by being a student, by studying, by implementation. And so these are the things that I'm reminded of that is keeping me activated, keeping me in momentum, keeping my confidence strong, keeping my faith strong. And I'm going to share with you today. So number one is this. If you receive the desire, if you receive the vision, if you receive the goal, the dream that you have for yourself and for whatever it is that you want in life and in business, this means that it is meant for you to receive it. And it also means that it is available to you. However, even though it's meant for you to receive, it doesn't mean that it will be received, because you have to have action back. You actually have to move towards it. But it does mean that is available to you, right? So just because something is not happening, does that mean it's not available to us? If the desire is there, if the vision is there, if it was placed to you, that is to let you know that this is available to you. And so even if we can't see it in reality yet, can we choose to believe in that idea, believe in that truth that it is available to you? Because if you see it is there. You know me, I believe that desires, vision is a gift from God, and He doesn't give us that vision if it wasn't meant to come into reality. But one thing that I have learned with that is that when you have these desires, these visions, when it's not coming into reality or you haven't started yet, it is actually guiding you to becoming the person that you need to be to actually receive it, right? So anytime a goal hasn't been achieved yet, a lot of times we get hard on ourselves. We get mad and upset, and it's frustrating. But sometimes it's really important to check in to see, who are we being? Like, are we being who we need to be to actually bring this to life? Are we being who we need to be to actually hold it when we receive it, right? And so a lot of times the thing that we desire, if it hasn't came into our reality yet, is really just guiding us to become who we need to be. And then we should be able to receive that. And so that is number one of what I consistently am reminded of, because when it's not coming into reality, you can kind of go back to the person that you were, right? That person who just start and stop, inconsistent because you're not seeing the results, when actually the goal that you have in mind requires you to be consistent. It requires you to show up, right? It requires you to be present. It requires you to become a certain person. But if you go back to the person who you were being because you're not seeing the results, then that's where the conflict happens. So that's one part. The second thing is always reminding ourselves that we can focus our attention, right? So faith is a belief, and then there's doubt, right? And so we can truly decide what we want to believe in. We either want to believe in the imagination that serves us best, or we are going to focus on the imagination that doesn't serve us best, right? We're mid-year, almost mid-year fully, and you have this goal, you have this vision that you desire, right? But the results aren't necessarily appearing. So maybe you start telling yourself, this is no longer for me. You start seeing yourself failing, and you start feeling yourself failing. You can see things going wrong. You can see the embarrassment coming. You can see the money being lost. You can see the setbacks happening because of the results not appearing. When once you were so excited and you had this vision, you had this imagination of what can be, right? And that is what got you into movement. That's what got you into action. But because you have some resistance, because you haven't had the full breakthrough yet, now the self-doubt imagination is starting to come. The self-doubt imagination is actually starting to take place a lot more. And so when it comes to believing in the unseen, imagination is what really holds the power, right? Because they're both beliefs in the unseen. So if we're believing that we may get embarrassed, we may lose money, we may fail, we may get judged, we may get criticized, that is still something that is unseen, right? That is still an imagination that we have not experienced yet in the future. Maybe we've experienced it in the past, but towards this specific goal, we haven't experienced it in the future, right? And so just like we have the imagination of, oh my gosh, what can happen? Oh my gosh, I can really bring this to reality. I can hit my dream goal. I can get my dream body. I can have my dream business. I can get my dream man. I can go, my life is about to change, right? So that is also an imagination that has not happened yet. That's also a belief in unseen. But the thing is, one of them either increases faith and confidence, and the other one increases self-doubt, right? It increases hesitation, it increases slowdown, versus the other one, the life-giving one, increases momentum, increases excitement. And the thing is, one of them is actually going to allow our dreams, our vision, our desires to actually come to life. And which one is that going to be? It's definitely not going to be the imagination of embarrassment, of failure, of disappointment, of loss. That's not going to do anything for us. That's going to just keep us in the same place, right? We're not going to want to move, or we're going to slow down. We're going to just stop, or we're never going to get it started. That's not going to do anything for us. And so we want to be able to focus our attention. This is one of the main things that has helped me accomplish certain things in my life, accomplish even like starting this podcast, right? This podcast in the beginning took off pretty fast. How was I able to accomplish that? Is because I saw it. I saw the excitement of all the people, the women that I would help. I saw me showing up, speaking, interviewing. Like all of those things gave me so much excitement, and that override the self-doubt or the criticism that I may receive. So focusing on the vision is what helped me accomplish that. And also that's what helped me start my business, is having a successful business is focusing on the excitement of what it can be, of being able to be home with my daughter, being able to make my own money, being able to not have to listen to anybody, right? And so like those are the things that like excited me, that kept my vision high, and it's what keeps me going now towards like my new business that I have started, is keeping the excitement of what's to come with the direction of this podcast, keeping me excited of what's to come, right? Because the thing is, like, setbacks are going to happen, right? You may fail, you may lose money. Like, these things happen when you're betting on yourself, right? It's the price of admission. Okay, these things happen, but these are the things that help you become the woman that you are meant to become, the confident and thriving woman that you are made to become. And so we want to focus on the vision that drives us, that gives us excitement, that gives us movement. So the third thing that keeps showing up as I keep studying confidence, keep studying faith, is speaking truth, like speaking life over your goals, over your desires, and giving thanks that what you desire has already happened in advance. So the reason why this is a reminder, the reason why this is so important, what I've noticed with me is that it gives me energy, right? It gives me energy. It changes my frequency. Like when results are not appearing like I want it to, it's easy to start thinking negative. It's easy to get in our head. It's easy to start being like, oh my gosh, this is never going to happen for me. Who was I thinking? It's easy to start saying those things. But what I learned, what I study, is that words are matter, right? Like words actually make things happen too. And we also reap what we sow. And so we don't just sow through action, right? We don't just sow through like how we're being, like our action. We also sow in our thoughts. We also sow through our words. And those are all part of pouring into life, pouring into your business, pouring into your life. And so we will reap like the things that we are saying. So this is like when you think about like how they say speak to plants, right? Speak life over plants. And this has been proven, right? That when people start speaking to their plants grow, right? Their plants blossom. And this is how words literally, there was another study. I want to find the study, but it's like a water study, literally, where it was like there was like a jar of water and there was another jar of water, and one would speak life to this jar of water, and the other one would not speak. It would speak death over it, just kind of just say like nasty things. And I can't remember what happened, but I think the one that was constantly being negative actually started to turn into like just nastiness. It started to turn in like it turned into something that was unpleasant. And so it's constant proof over and over that the things that we say can really affect results, right? It can really affect results because it is also energy, right? It affects our energy. So if we're saying, oh my gosh, what was I thinking? This can't happen for me. It just affects our frequency. Like it affects our energy. We can feel it. We because we're speaking it, we're thinking it, then we feel it in our heart, and it just affects us overall. It affects our actions. And so we want to, even if we're not seeing the results happening, we want to be intentional. And this takes intentionality. We want to be intentional about speaking life over it. Yes, it's gonna happen. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited for this to come to life. I'm so excited to see my dream customers. I'm so excited to have my dream clients. I'm so excited to have my dream community, my dream audience. I'm so excited to have this dream life. I'm so excited to get my dream body. I'm so excited to get my dream my man. Thank you that is happening. Thank you that I have it. I'm so happy and grateful that like money is coming to me. I'm so happy and grateful that things are working in my favor. Like, even if you can't see it, it just gives better, right? It gives better energy. It lifts you up. It puts you in a happier state, in a more feel good state. And to keep that battery in your back, is we want to keep that battery in our back as much as we can, and let that overpower. And what I also know is that, and practice this and study this, is that when we get close to a breakthrough, sometimes things really start going crazy in our life. Like, things just happen. We go through a breakup and just tear us apart, or something happens, right? And it really feels like it's not working. It really feels like a hot ass mess. But that is the time to even pour more life over, speak more life over what you desire to have, is when you really feel that impact of it not happening, right? Okay, let's go ahead and get into number 4. So the fourth thing that I keep getting reminded of is to move as if you already know the results that you want is going to happen, right? What if you knew that this business that you have in mind, what if you knew that in 3 months it was going to take off, you can quit your job? What if you knew that? Would you still be hesitating? Right? Would you still be like procrastinating? Would you still be thinking about, what am I going to do? Would you still be thinking that? Probably not. You would probably be like, "Ooh, let me get up. Let me go get this LLC. Let me go open this bank account. Let me go do this, right? Let me go get these products. Let me start showing up online." You will start moving if you knew. But that goes against everything, right? We don't know. Right? The thing is, it requires faith. It requires confidence to move in the unseen, to believe in the unseen. And so, like, move as if you just knew what was going to happen. What would you do? How would you show up? How would you show up tomorrow, next week, if you knew that you were about to meet your dream man? Would you keep going on these? Would you stop dating? Or would you keep going outside looking a hot mess? No, if you knew next week you were about to meet your dream man, and you keep telling yourself, dang, I need to get dressed, I need to be looking good every day, but I'm too tired to get up in the morning. I don't got time to take care of myself. Girl, if you knew that next week at the grocery store, you was about to run into your dream man, okay, your hubby, would you get your behind up early in the morning, or do what you got to do to make sure that you look cute every day? Every day, because you don't know what day is going to happen on, but you just knew it was going to happen. Right? No, you wouldn't be making these excuses, right? We would move differently if we knew, right? We would move so much differently if we knew. But that's just, unfortunately, that's not how life works. Like, how boring would that be? Oh, how boring would that become? Obviously, we want things to happen on our own time and our own, like, how we want it, when we want it. But when we think about it, if we knew that everything was going to happen, life would be so boring, right? Like, where's the How can we be like spontaneous? How can we be excited? How can we be amazed by things happening? If we just knew, how can we unlock our potential and discover our potential and discover what we're capable of? If we knew everything that was going to happen, we wouldn't grow, we wouldn't develop, we wouldn't change, right? And believing in the unseen, as hard as it is, it can also be an exciting time, right? It can also be an exciting time to just play with your imagination, play with it, play with your vision, play with your desire, and just allow that to guide you to show up differently every single day, do different every single day, so that it can bring you closer to your desire. Like, life gets to be a game, and this is honestly the game. This is the game that we're like betting on ourselves to win, that we're wanting to win, but we want to believe in the unseen. It's easier said than done. Trust me. It is easier said than done, right? You know it, right? It's easier to believe in the doubt than it is to believe that is possible. Sometimes it is, right? But we want to push ourselves to believe that is possible, because once you realize your potential, oh man, it's so much fun. It's so juicy to be able to look back and be like, yo, I accomplished that. You get to amaze yourself. I did that. I showed up for myself, right? I went to the gym. I did that. I got my skin, I got my body right, I got my money, I got my business. Like, I did that because I believe that it was possible for me. And I believed, right? I pushed myself to believe. I just trusted. I had faith in knowing that it was possible. I had to see it in my mind first and know that seeing it in my mind meant that it was possible for me to actually to have it, right? But imagine the disappointment that you may feel if you stopped right before the breakthrough, right? It's not a fun feeling at all. It's not a fun feeling at all when you stop before the breakthrough, because it is a fine line, right? There's a fine line between, okay, you feel it, you see it. I've experienced this myself. You see it, you know that it's coming. You can feel the breakthrough happening. You can feel it, but you don't see it yet. Right? And so that it creates that friction. But this is like where our willpower, our faith has to be ramped up. It's scary, it's uncomfortable, and it is frustrating. It is frustrating, right? But once we give ourselves living proof that you can, because you kept going, because that's going to be the result, right? You gave yourself living proof. Like, that's what it's all about. Like, that's how we increase our confidence. That's how we level up our self-image. That's how we begin to feel like we're so unstoppable, is because once we give ourselves living proof that, like, I can accomplish that, I can be successful, I can have a successful career and have a healthy relationship and have this, right? I don't have to just have one and suffer with the other. Or I can have my dream body. I can get my dream job. I can increase my salary 30K plus, 50K plus. I can start my dream business. I can travel the world and make money. I can have my dream career as a model, as an actor. I can do all this, right? That all takes belief in unseen. But once you give yourself living proof, it's, oh my gosh, I did that. It's amazing, right? It is amazing. And so that requires that belief in the unseen. It's easier said than done, but it is a necessary factor. It's a necessary factor, because that is all in our imagination, all in our belief. And that's where that faith and that confidence, that true essence of confidence really lives, so that you can thrive, right? And so for the woman who you haven't started yet, you haven't started betting on yourself, you haven't started doing the vision that you have, the desires that you have, but that desire has not left your heart. It has not left your mind. You know, you still want it. You want to pursue it. However, you just don't feel, you maybe feel like you're waiting for confidence to happen. If that's the case, I want to invite you to explore my course, Activating Audacity. So I created this course specifically for what it says, to help you activate audacity, to become this audacious woman who begins to own what she wants unapologetically. What an audacious woman is: a bold woman, a daring woman, a woman who moves, who owns what she wants, a woman who goes against the grain, who bets on herself so that she can have the success that she wants on her own terms in her life and in her business. And despite like insecurities and self-doubt and validation, all these things like that, this is what I created this course for, because it truly helped me. Like, everything that I put in this course, I believe, is about maybe 15 modules, 14 to 15 modules. Everything that I put in this course is what helped me like activate the audacity for me to start my dream business, to start this podcast after being so scared of being seen, is what helped me increase my income like $35,000 plus in 3 months. Is helped me accomplish like so much. And so everything that I've done, I put into this course. And so if you haven't made any movements yet because you just want to feel confident first, you want to get that activated, I highly recommend that you just explore this course if you feel like calling your name and you really want to step into becoming that woman who owns what she wants, and do so unapologetically. I'm going to leave all that information in the show notes. And again, ladies, if you're listening on the audio platform, I will love, again, if you can go ahead to the YouTube channel. I'm going to leave that link in the description as well. And go ahead and subscribe to the channel. That would be really helpful. Again, I'm so excited like for what's to come for the podcast. Like, I'm all in. So I'm going to be giving it so much more better attention. And yeah, that's it. That is it for today's episode of Confident and Thriving. And I will speak with you, see you in the next episode. Bye, ladies.